You're listening to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast, episode 56.
Welcome to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast, where positivity and spirituality create an enhanced life's journey with the wisdom of Ifa and Orisha. I am your host, Omileti Olubunmi.
Welcome to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast. I am Omileti Olubunmi. Thank you for spending some of your time with me to talk about all things Orisha, spirituality, and growth. So, turn up the volume in your car. Put on your earbuds. This is going to be one of those episodes that is going to make you go, Grab a cup of coffee or tea, something good to drink, and let's chat. This episode is being brought to you by our newest resource available, the Aleyos Guide To Godparents, and it's inside of Aleyos 101. It's a great new framework to a challenge that pretty much everybody who's coming into the traditions is going to encounter in many forms. Is how do I get a godparent? For you, I've created the Aleyos Guide to Godparents. It answers a lot of questions more in depth that this topic gets. What is it? It's a guide. It comes with video, audio, and other resources. It's basically the map with the keys for the vehicle of how to get a godparent. Why do you need this? No matter what you want to do in these traditions, you're going to need somebody to help you, to guide you, to just give you what you need in your journey. Because if you don't get the right person for you, you're going to continue where you're at without one and without the guidance. How do you get it? Go to orishawisdom.com/Omileti and click on the image that says, finally, your guide to choosing the right godparent. Watch the video, and if it resonates with you, get it. Because it's amazing. It is a great opportunity that has come from your questions over the years and from experiences and from my desire to see brand new folks finding where they belong. With that, let's get this episode rolling. I haven't yet figured out what I am going to, you know how I like to name things, like kind of give it a fun little title. I don't have one yet. The only thing that I have in front of me is Judgement and the 16 Principles of Ifa. Maybe by the time I publish this episode, it's going to have a better title, but right now it's what I have. It's no secret that I am the creator of Olubunmi Creations. It's art, jewelry, mostly art now, based in calligraphy on anything that has to do with Orisha and the Yoruba traditions. I really, really do enjoy making and creating those things. A Babalao reached out to me and he asked me for a piece. It was a custom piece. And I said, ooh, this is kind of cool. He asked me for the 16 Principles of Ifa in Spanish. He wanted it with a really nice background. He wants to put it where he has his Ifa. So we went back and forth until he agreed on the color scheme and the wording. We had to make sure that it was going to be visible from where he was going to be reading it, and it was done. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And to this day, I haven't yet posted it to any store. It was really something that I did for him, but I really like it. And I wanted to make it in English at some point. Hopefully by the time that this episode is published, you'll be able to get your hands on your own in both English and in Spanish. But I wanted to talk to you about something because it's become relevant in my life and I wanted to share it with you. There are different interpretations of the 16 principles of Ifa, and depending on which house or which priest or which lineage, they are going to list all 16 differently, but the point is that the concepts are there. I'm going to read to you some of the ones that I have, and I'm going to share with you a thought, okay? One of them says, demonstrate humility at all times. Don't allow ego to influence one's actions. This is the definition. I had to look it up in the English because the way we follow it in our house, the wording is different. And this one correlates more with the one that I translated. So I wanted to share it with you. Here's another one of the principles. Respect one's self, others, and all sacred items of Ifa. We're going to scrap just the last part of it. We're going to focus just on the first part. And in Spanish, it says, el awo, that means the priest, debe ser humilde y no debe ser egocéntrico, meaning the awo has to be humble and cannot be egocentric. And lately, I've had this word in my mind, and the word is judgment. Okay? And before you're like, oh, I don't want to hear this, Omileti, that's it. Click. Don't click off just yet. We have a similar version that says we must never initiate harm to another human being. So I'm going to kind of tie these in together. So just bear with me. There is a reason to the madness. There's another version that says respect the Almighty Creator of this universe and all of its creations. And for all of you who love math, right? Not me, but for all of you other people, other smart people, think of it like this. I love God. There's a piece of God in me. Therefore, I love me. It's like X equals Y. Therefore, it is Z. I don't know. It's a math problem. And think about it. Then if you take that same piece and you say you love God, so let's say you love Olofi, Olodumare, the Creator, and you love God, and you love the God in you, therefore you must also love the God in someone else too. And this is where it gets difficult. This is where it gets not happy-go-lucky. There is another version of one of the principles that says it is your birthright to be happy. Now, how can you be happy let me go back. How can you be happy if others are judging you? You can't, right? Because then you're always on the defensive. You're angry. How dare you? And there's other issues that are going to come along. And how do you know all that you're not going to be happy? Because you probably lived it. It's part of being human. If you are also judgmental, I call it like the judgy eyes, with others too, does that make you happy? Will that make them be happy? And when you do that, how many of these principles are you violating? Ouch, right? And you think that I'm talking to you, but I'm not. I am so not talking to you. I'm going to share with you a story just in a bit. But I want to say that the release of this is powerful, and it can spark many changes. It can spark the change on how you see the world, how you react to the world, how you receive things in the world and how you believe. And all of these things are all related to ego and to judgment. And here I am thinking, I am doing so good. I am getting better. I am meditating. I am starting to be a little more awesome every day. Remember, I told you, your Maya loves me just the way I am. I am awesome, right? And then I tend to say this a lot, but I eat a lot of humble pie and it keeps being served to me. And one of these days I'm going to develop a taste for it, but it doesn't taste good. When we are living, it's like we are part of a little brick road or a little road, and we are doing our best. However, our reactions, our actions, our perceptions can be great and can be detrimental to others as well as ourselves. Now, please don't hate me, don't judge me, but I'm going to share with you a story. I'm going to put my notes down because I don't know how I'm going to get through this story. I have had a really tumultuous relationship with my parents. And I say for good 15, 16 years, it's been rough, especially with my mother. And here I am, being a priestess. I am supposed to be, quote unquote, you can't see the air quotes, elevated. And I look at her like and I've said this, I don't even know how I was born into this family. I am ashamed that I was born into this family. Isn't that judgmental, huh? Yeah, it's great, isn't it? And I found out that she is not making some good decisions lately. And I was so angry, and I have judged her very harshly. I've judged her extremely hard in the past 15 years. I have, I could have been better off in another family and another this and another that. And, I'm so much better than this. This is what I'm saying in my mind. I would never tell her that, but I haven't been my best either. And I was going through another issue. An issue that is not related. I wasn't even thinking about my mother at this time, right? And I was, how can I say this? I was not going through a really good time. A little voice, and my because I really do believe that this was Ori, said something that changed me in an instant. And what the voice said, if you do not live your truth and pursue your dreams, you will wind up just like her. It was just that. It wasn't a big conversation. It wasn't a big revel. It wasn't an apparition, nothing. It was that. And it stopped me in my tracks. And I said, holy crap. I've been judging her, but I'm not her. I haven't lived her life. I have not walked in her shoes. Those moments like I took a shower this morning and I was washing my hair and I said, I'm going to do my hair nice and curly. Okay, great. Those are the moments that you think. And you think about your life. You think about whatever it is. Thoughts, just random, some are deep. That's where you think when you're alone. I haven't been in her mind. I haven't lived those day-to-days when she's dealing with a problem. How did my dad react to her? How did her bosses react to her? I wasn't there. I wasn't her. And it just kind of like, let me see if I can snap it. I don't know if you can hear it, but there you go. There's a snap. In a snap, it was just like, You are nobody. This is like me talking to me. You are nobody to judge her because you have not walked in her shoes. I said, dang it. This is so not cool. And you live and you're thinking that you're getting better. And this was an extremely sucky moment. I had to humble myself for a moment. And like I said, this happened very quickly. And it happened all in the mind. It happened while I was sitting in this exact same chair. I had my laptop in front. And like I said, I was going through something and this happened. It just happened in a matter of minutes. All of these things are going through my head. Holy crap. How many times have I been mean to her? Because I'm judging her and I am thinking that, how dare you? You know, you are not in whatever it is that I'm judging her on. But I haven't walked in her shoes. I'm nobody to judge. Therefore, if I'm going to go back to my notes, I did not demonstrate humility at all times. I allowed my ego to influence my actions towards another human being. I was judgmental. I was the very thing with her that I hate that people are with me. So I violated this right off the bat. So if Orumila's keeping score, I am so deficient on these. So think about it. Respect oneself. Oh, but I respect myself, Omileti. I really do. But you have to also respect others. You have to respect their journey. You have to respect their fallacies. I'm not saying that I'm going to be all happy gun ho if somebody guns down someone else. However, on the same token, we have to pick up the pieces, but we weren't inside that person from the moment they were born. We have no right to do that. And I think that this is so hard. This is so hard to not judge. Like, look at her, how she's parenting those kids. And if you are Latina, oh my God, look, she's not even, her kids are dirty. Like, we are judging. We don't know what this person went through before, and the kids are all a mess. You don't know if they've come from the park. You don't know if she just come from her job and that's what happened, or she had, like, we have no idea. It could be a million things. But we're happy to go put a judgment, aren't we? I'm not pointing at you. I'm pointing at me. And it sucks. It's not one of my finest moments. And there are many of those not finest moments because I've been judgmental. And I hate it when people, and I think I've mentioned this in the podcast, when, you know, people are looking at you with judgy eyes in the religion or in the whatever you're doing. But we do the same thing. We do the same thing. It's just bizarre. And then we're like, yeah, we love Orisha. How can we love the Almighty up above and all of its creations when we don't love others? Because others, there's Orisha in everybody. There is God in everybody. And if we are not humble to accept a little easier and a little better, how are we expecting others to do the same for us? Then that means that we are not following the principles of Ifa. We are not following this tradition that we are so happy to go into. That is really tough. That is really hard. And I'm sharing this story with you. I'm hoping if you want to continue to talk about the principles of Ifa that you let me know. But this was just a lesson, very recent, and it hit home. I've always joked around that I swear I was adopted, but dang it, I'm looking more like my mother every day. So apparently I'm not adopted. And if we are able to live our lives with a little more humility and acceptance. Just think, the moment that you look at this woman, I don't know, I'm just thinking about kids because I'm a mom. Like, let's say the kid is going berserk in the store and the woman doesn't know what to do, or the woman is yelling. We are not there. We don't know what's going on. We don't know all of the different facets that have created that moment. We're not inside her mind. We don't know what her own personal challenges is. You don't know how many other people have judged this mother. And we just look. And I know, you know what I'm talking about, the judgy eyes, right? It's like your eyes turn to slits and you're almost shaking that head like, oh, shame on you. And if you haven't done it, congratulations, you're much better than me. I think that it would be a great start. This episode was made to spark thought on maybe to spark a change. And I don't care how that change comes. Interesting. I wasn't thinking about the principles of Ifa when this happened. It was more of she is your teacher. You are meant to see this. You are meant to do this. You are meant to go through this experience. But you will do just like her if you don't do X, Y, Z, or, what the challenge is that I was going through. And I wish that I could have seen this before, but it's not. These are words that I'm about to share with you. 3 steps. And I have to tell you, I have such a difficult time. But number 3 is the one that will help 1 and 2. I'm going to start with number 1, forgiveness. I struggle with this. Shoot, I don't forgive things that happened when I was like 5. And maybe later on I will speak more about this, but right now I can't because I still struggle with this aspect. But I feel that, okay, before we go, let me go to number 2. Number 2 is perception. How you see things will change how you react and how you behave and how you do things. So for me, my husband to this day, I haven't spoken to my mom since this event, so I promise you this will change. But he always says, I know when you're talking to your mother. I'm like, why? You're very cold with her. And I thought back, he's right, dang it. He's so right. Because I was coming from a place of judgmental, judginess. It's not the best place to be at. And I realized that 1 and 2 are not that difficult if 3 happens. Number 3 happened in a snap. I'm telling you this and I'm trying to keep myself together because I wish that I could place you back into what happened, but it was just number 3, a decision. And it happened in a snap. Maybe I was ready for it. Maybe it was time. I don't care. I'm just glad it happened. I made a decision. And I remember just standing like, oh, crap. I was meant to be her daughter. She is meant to be my mother. I am nothing and no one to judge her or anyone. And it just happened like that. Am I going to be not judgy for the rest of my life? No, this will be definitely a work in progress. But that started it. And I wanted to share with you that people come into the traditions and they're like, Orisha this, Orisha that. I want to mount. I want to initiate. And there are a lot more wonderful yumminess, big yumminess in the traditions that come from our beliefs. our principles on how we do things and how we interpret Odu or patakis. For a lot of the new people, interpreting and getting the lessons from patakis, those are our fairy tales, basically, although we don't believe they're fairy tales, but you know what I mean. Each fairy tale has a lesson. Patakis, each pataki has a lesson. But on this one, I just want to focus on a decision. Just take a look as you're listening. When have you been judgmental towards another human being? Or even better, when have you been judgmental with yourself? Because my list is much longer in that department. If you're judgmental to yourself, you're most likely judgmental to others. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to turn my little notes because I wrote these notes. If you are being judgmental, are you respecting yourself? Are you respecting others? Are you loving the Olodumare that's in you and in that person? And that's hard. I think it's a Buddhist. Is it Buddhist? Hindu. I don't know. But it's more like I love the God. I love God. I love the God in you. I think it's Buddhist. So how much are you loving you say you love Orisha. I say I love Orisha. Do you love Orisha that much that you are judging someone without being in there fully all the time? It's like people wonder, why do they keep doing some things? Why? You may think you have the answer because, you're so much better that you've never been an addict and you're trying to help an addict. Let's say it's just an example, but you don't know what's going on in that person. You've never been in that person's shoes. You have not lived that life. You are not that essence. So judging is not really going to give you the best tools to give up and to give out the best that you can give, just the best that you could give. And I wanted to share this with you because, for one, this is very personal for me. And I'm learning as I'm going along. Remember when I mentioned that little brick road, that little path? I'm walking that path right along with you. And it sucks. It sucks when you're like, oh my God, I'm getting better. I'm doing my prayers every day. This is so awesome. And then you see such a funky side of yourself. And I don't mean funky like dance moves. No, like a bad side. So here's the thing. Here's where the 1, 2, and 3 are going to come into play. But they're hard topics and they're hard to deal with. And I get it. Forgive yourself. Maybe that's the road maybe that's something you just had to learn. And it took me 45 years. And I think it's going to take me the rest of my life to put into place. And I keep telling myself when I see something in a store that I don't like or outside, I'm nobody to judge this person. And I keep saying it to myself. I am nobody. I have not walked in this person's shoes. I do not live this person's life. I'm not inside this person's head. And I have to say it over and over because it's really easy. Like, why do they come out dressed like that? It's none of my business, first of all. And 2, why am I being judgmental? Who knows what's been going on? Who am I to judge? And if we say we love Ifa, we love Orunmila, we love Orisha, maybe we should take a look at these principles and see how they fit. And I've heard these principles before. It's not the first time. Why didn't I get that? And I'm not going to fret on why I didn't get that. But I am so glad that I'm starting to see it now. It's like, when you have been like really, really late and you're like, oh my God, you wake up in the morning and you fell asleep with all makeup or whatever, and you got the crusties in your eyes and you're finally like prying them open. You got to wash your face. It's almost like that. And I'm sharing it with you because we're all walking here to learn something. and to get better and to do better. And I think we lose our way based on all of the things that we have gone through, how our families, our upbringings, our environment. But now that we're grown ups, we can make a decision. We can make a decision. And I never wanted to make that decision because, we're all like so freaking awesome. But the decision was made right there. I remember I was staring at the computer. I'm looking out the window and it was just a snap, a decision. I can't judge her. I'm nobody to judge her. So many bags of bricks fell off. And the funny thing is that thing's been going on for like 2 weeks, I think. I haven't spoken to her still. I just haven't been able to reach her. And she has no idea that I have gone through this. I don't think I'm ever going to tell her, first of all, because I'm embarrassed. But I'm hoping that she will see it in how I am with her. And I wanted to share this experience. So remember the 3 steps: forgiveness, perception, and a decision. And this is just scratching the surface. I get it. But I wanted to point out that in our traditions, we have really deep moral, stuff going. It's not just about getting initiation and getting Orisha and getting this. And I wanted to share an aspect and how this will be able to help you moving forward of judgment and the 16 principles of Ifa. You've reached the end of this episode. For show notes, go to www.orishawisdom.com/5656. Something major is coming. I keep saying it. It is coming to Orisha Wisdom. And there are several things that are coming, but especially for those Aleyos and Orishas who don't have a spiritual house and you're looking, I have something for you. We have something for you, and I wonder what it could be. More updates. Let's see. Orisha swag is coming. If you follow on Instagram, you are going to see that I created my first shirt, and more stuff is coming. Remember, I am not going to be designing any more jewelry. Even though it's Orisha stuff, I might keep the ideas because they are important for our traditions. I'll think about that, but whatever's there is there, and whatever you can get your hands on, get it when you are there. If you have found value in what I do, in the content, in this podcast, and if you can, check out my Patreon page, and it is patreon.com/Iya Omileti, and you will have access to the podcasts before they are published and other perks. I can't wait to see you there. By the way, one of my Patreons is going to get the first set of the first t-shirt that I made, which was made with the Orisha Wisdom Podcast emblem right on it. So these kind of great things are going to be happening there. And remember, if you are thinking you don't have a godparent and you're considering someone, or you just want to be prepared for when the time comes, check out the Aleyos Guide to Godparents. And you can get it at the information page, which is orishawisdom.com/Iya Omileti, or you could just get it on the show notes, which is orishawisdom.com/56. If you're enjoying the Orisha Wisdom podcast, share it with somebody else, and commenting is so great because it gets the conversation going. If you can, review us on iTunes. I read every single thing, and it really does help to keep this particular podcast on the map. It is going to be on YouTube as well. You know how it goes. If you really love it, subscribe and click on the little bell icon so that you will be the first to know when a new video is loaded. Stay tuned for the next couple of episodes because we are going to go more into Ask a Priest questions and a couple of other topics. I really can't wait. Also, let me know what you think about this episode. Do you think that it hits home? Am I just off my rocker and I just had a crazy, wonky moment? I really want to hear what you think. I really do, because I'm going to share because I'm hoping that I'm not the only person in the universe. Let me know your thoughts. I absolutely can't wait to see them. Until next time, may the elevated ancestors and all Orisha bless you immensely. Odabo.
Thank you for listening to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast. Be sure to check out the show notes at orishawisdom.com/podcast. Can't get enough of Orisha Wisdom? Check us out at orishawisdom.com and subscribe to our community. Remember, the wisdom of Ifa and Orisha is all around us. Be blessed, and until next time.